Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz, your host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, let's talk a little bit about the latest going on around cornerback Tre'Davious White. He had a meeting with the Las Vegas Raiders yesterday. He also has a meeting scheduled with another NFL team, and there's some other things that I do think are notable around the cornerback position. If the Raiders end up saying, you know what, Trey, you're not the guy for us. What I wanted to do is also look at some other cornerbacks that are still out there on the free agency market. That Antonio Pierce, that Tom Telesco could end up signing, since AP did call it a priority just a few weeks ago. I saw that Mel Kiper released a brand new mock draft. So what I'm going to do is break down what I thought of the pick for Mel, kind of go through the entire mock, and then just also pinpoint some of the rumors, some of the speculation that has been trending around the latest Mel Kiper mock draft. Then another segment that I've been wanting to do for a while, because it's a question that I get asked a lot, and it's like, all right, this player ends up signing with the Raiders. How does it impact this guy? So coming up here on today's show, we're going to be looking at some Raiders winners and losers from free agency. Obviously, these names can still change. There might be a winner on this list that all it takes is one free agency signing and then everything changes. But based on the moment that I am making this video right now, the Raiders winners and losers in free agency. I should also mention this because, well, some crazy shit happened yesterday as well. Not going to be drinking today. We're going to save that one for Friday. We go live every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday here on the Raiders Report at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Friday, Raiders Happy Hour. I do got a question, though, for the nation to get this one jump-started. Since we're going to be talking a lot about the cornerback position, if you had to pick to sign one of these players, and I also want you to, consider overall fit, how much money you think it might be, but if you could only choose one of the corners that you see on screen, who would you roll with? Would you roll with Adoree Jackson? Give me an AJ. Stephon Gilmore type SG. Tre'Davious White TW, or Xavier Howard type XH. I see Fear Raider is going to roll with Howard. 93 Nabman's going to roll with the X-Man. Edgar Sosa and Hector Gaming rolling with Stephon Gilmore. Matt Queen rolling with Tre'Davious White. I would say the only name that I haven't seen right there, and AJ for Adoree Jackson from Big Luck rolling in. What up, Taino? What up, Adrian, Stefan, Miggy, Slaughterproof, a bunch of the real ones already down here in the chat. Rocking and rolling with us. So we are going to be doing a lot of questions today. So if you guys want to get those questions, comments up on screen, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat, whatever's the easiest for you in order to get those up here. But we do have 3 segments on our live show today. I know, I was like, what is happening around you? You got to get some light in here. We got Mario said, let's get this thing started off the right way. Real one for life. Mario, shout out to you, my guy. Mario's been an OG Raiders Report watcher here for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, Mario's been here before. He's our starting defensive tackle for our Raiders Report 52-man roster.
Yeah?
So, yeah, I mean.
He's been here.
I can't remember if he was defensive tackle or if he was guard.
I mean, number 78 makes me think that he's a guard, though I think he said defensive tackle.
I think that's what I was leaning defensive tackle. I thought he had said that, but
my mind's telling me defensive tackle, but my body's telling me offensive guard.
Yeah.
That's what I think we're going with. I see another one rolling in here from 93 Navman. Roll Hot Mitch. Is that a meaning? Roll Hot Mitch? I was thinking like Roll Tide.
That's what I thought it was.
That's the only thing I can pop. Is this like an Alabama thing? We might have to ask Chris.
Roll, Mitch, roll.
It's Roll Hot Mitch. Is this like an Alabama saying? Roll Tide? I don't know.
I think it turns into an Alabama saying if it's talking about your cousin.
Yeah. Literally, it was like one of the first things I asked Chris when we interviewed him. For those that don't know, Chris works up in Cincinnati with our guy Tom. Big Alabama guy. And whether it's true or not, I'll tell you this. He was said, basically people down in Alabama, that does happen more than what you think. All right, totally get off that. In the 2024 NFL Draft, how many quarterbacks are going to be selected before the Raiders are on the clock here at number 13. And Mel Kiper's latest mock, there was a lot of QBs that ended up going off the board.
Give me 4.
I feel like every single year, this is like what we talk about. It's quarterbacks, and then you sprinkle in a little bit of something else. Obviously, right now, the Raiders still need a QB, so like that's still where this concentration is going to be on. But like this is the prime time year of this year, I guess I should say, where quarterbacks are just, every quarterback's going to go in round 1. And it's just, the hype is there. I don't think that as many QBs go in round 1 as what some people think, though in the top 13 picks, definitely 3.
Oh, it's 4.
I'm starting to think definitely 4.
It's definitely 4.
You think definitely 4 now?
I think it's a lock that there are 4 quarterbacks taken before pick 13.
Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, Drake Maye, J.J. McCarthy. It's a lock?
I think it's a lock.
Tyler says 3.
The only reason
Scott
I say
says 4. PG says 5.
The only reason I say that is if he falls, I don't think he gets past the Broncos at 12.
I know, I'm hoping. I just don't even want that scenario. Like, in a perfect world, which I actually love the mock that Mel Kiper ended up dropping here earlier, I think it's almost perfect scenario for the Raiders.
They stay at 13 and get Michael Penix?
Not quite. Not even luckily, Penix, the Raiders could have taken Penix there at 13. They didn't end up doing it in the Mel mock.
That was the other mock.
Yeah, there's another mock that has Penix going at 13, which I forget who ended up doing that one.
Was,
Daniel Jeremiah.
Yeah.
That was the Daniel. Oh, man. You guys are just insane.
These are some wild and crazy guys.
Every day, you guys are insane. If you want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, I need some Raider Josh Bay. If you want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, I want to see some Raider Joshes down below, and he's got this to say. Raiders! FKC Mitch, I would draft a guard to start beside Thayer. With that 13th pick, I trust Minshew in this style of offense. I do trust Minshew in this style of offense, but I don't trust him enough to be my plan A. Like Gardner Minshew should be, if you swing and a miss on a quarterback in the draft, then that's the guy that you're going to have battle with Aiden O'Connell, and that ends up being the starting player. I don't actually love the idea of taking a guard in the top 13, where if I'm the Raiders, I would rather you draft somebody like a Talisi Fuaga, who you think maybe potentially could play guard. Like, I'm not saying, like, there's not a single guard that I'm drafting within the top 13 picks of this year's draft.
I think most of the top guys in the draft,
usually guards don't go this early.
Well, I was going to say the top guys are tackles who can turn into guards, like a Talisi Fuaga, like Troy Fautanu.
Yep, Troy Fautanu, Talisi Fuaga would be the top 2 names that I would throw out there. And the idea that I would put behind kind of like where I was going is, if you draft Talisi, if you draft Troy Fautanu, and they battle it out with Thayer, and if Thayer ends up winning that job outright at right tackle, then you go, I'm just going to put Thayer there, and then you can kick in one of those other guys to your right guard position, because if you draft an offensive lineman that high and Thayer Munford beats them out, 1, that's a panic button, or 2, Thayer's been putting in that work.
Yeah. Also, there are some guys who you could get there at 13 who I don't know how they translate if you try to move him into guard. Like, I don't know. I don't think Joe Alt's a guard. I don't think Olu Fashanu's really a guard.
Correct. The two players that are in this 13 range to me that I would also consider potential guards in the NFL would be Troy Fautanu and Talisi Fuaga. Like, I'm not putting J.C. Latham there. I'm not putting Joe Alt. Not putting Olu there either. Like, they're talented enough. / like
Amarius Mims, I don't know.
No,
I mean, he's like, what is he, 6'8"?
Yeah, he's like 6'8". You can't put somebody like that. Now, if it's the only way they can get on the field, sure, but you're not drafting a guard usually this early. Like, you're taking a tackle, and it's based on position importance, I guess. Like, tackle's more important than guard.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying. I think that maybe you're a little bit higher on Thayer Munford then for that reason, but Thayer's got the open track right now. If you go out, though, and draft Talisi, if anything, the more likely scenario would be they kick Thayer into guard. And Thayer actually played guard a little bit in college as well. Let's go to John. What up, John? A loud Raiders! I got over 1,000 people here in the building. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button. 37-year-old real cowboy. Do you think that's why he's 30 and then 7? Because he said he was 37 yesterday on the show, right? Do you think that's why he's 30 and then there's a random 7? You add them together, 37? I mean.
Does he change it every year?
Maybe. I don't know. 4 quarterbacks go before the Raiders pick. I agree with you. To me, there's a lock for the top 3, which is Drake, Jayden. Actually, I don't even know if Drake Maye is a lock now to be one of the top 3 quarterbacks. I would say Jayden and Caleb Williams are a lock to be top 2. And then there's a part of me that wonders, could JJ go ahead of Drake Maye?
Your boy?
I'm a Drake Maye believer. I really am. I mean, if JJ goes off the board at number 3 to the New England Patriots, and there was a report that came out today, or maybe yesterday, that was like, apparently the Patriots really like Malik Neighbors, and like they could be willing to, take some calls and whatnot. If McCarthy, J.J. McCarthy, Jayden Daniels, and then Caleb Williams are the first 3 picks, if you're the Raiders and Drake Maye is on the board at 4, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, should I do it? 1, I don't think you'll be able to because I think Minnesota is playing checkers, where that's why they made the trade that they did. I think
they're playing chess.
They're playing chess. We're playing checkers. They have pick 23 and pick 11. They're going to get ready to go up and go get Drake Maye, who's their guy. But
would you offer 4 first-round picks if it meant that you could outbid Minnesota for the 4th pick?
4.
This year plus the next 3 first-round picks.
This year, you can't do the next 3, but again, I love me some Drake Maye.
Or the first and second the next 3 years.
I guess the biggest problem would be, for me, yes, I'm still making the trade for Drake Maye if I can go up and get him. But then again, I'm a lot higher on Drake Maye than a lot of other people are probably in this industry, especially maybe even around the Raiders. I think Minnesota, though, would do everything in their power to get him. I think it would cost you a lot more to go up to number 4 to go get him. But in that instance, though, would you rather trade up, give up all your draft capital for Maye at number 4, or sit and wait? And if you're that desperate for a QB, you just take a guy like Michael Penix Jr. at 13. Again, I think Drake Maye is going to be a better pro.
Some people like the Penix.
I am more than aware. What up, Rebel? Standing Rebel 1.5 minus Marshall 0.5 on the boot race. I did watch the boot race yesterday between Marsh, Seeps, and Rebel.
It was a great boot race.
It was really impressive, honestly, by Rebel. It was a good showing, though.
I think he was sitting down.
Which I feel like doing a boot sitting down is harder.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's definitely harder. Rebel, way to show out. Slaughterproof. About time I got a shout out. I've been here for years, even longer than Ima Cummins, and finally got some love. Well, I was like, is this a whole nother name here? Slaughterproof. We've given you love before on this show. No doubt about it, man.
Slaughterproof.
Silvas. What up, Silvas? If no Jayden Daniels, why aren't they signing heavy in free agency? I mean, there's still a lot of players out there that are available in free agency, and I think what the Raiders are doing is they're not hitting the panic button.
Yeah.
They're doing their due diligence. They're doing their homework.
They talked to Tre'Davious White, who is meeting with the Rams right now.
Got some breaking news here. Shaq Griffin signing a 1-year, $6 million deal with the Minnesota Vikings. So Shaq Griffin going to Minnesota. Him getting 1 year up to $6 million. So it's not a $6 million deal. It's up to $6 million.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, if he's getting $6 million, that's kind of surprising.
The Vikings just love the Texans' sloppy seconds.
Well,
Seeps.
Yeah, and you're right. Tre White is visiting the Rams today.
Big Texans sloppy seconds guy.
He's also going to be meeting with the Titans and Giants later on in the week as well.
Gigantes.
The Giants as well. Is the Wyoming area code?
Oh. Petey knows about the 307.
Wyoming area code, no doubt. See, I didn't know that, which this makes a lot more sense. I guess for me, I would be... Oh, that's also for Cowboys as well. Wyoming Cowboys.
Yeah.
Now it's all coming together. Now it's all coming together.
His whole house is yellow and brown.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw Cowboy at first, I thought this was like one of Tom's watchers. Thought I was getting trolled. All right, which team will win March Madness? And for those of you that do not know, we only have 8 spots remaining in our March Madness bracket, which we're going to be doing here on the Raiders Report. It's the first 64 people that Venmo me $50 at Mitchell Renz 365. You got a chance to win $1,600. On top of that, we are also going to do an actual, like, real March Madness bracket that, you're going to see on TV, which anybody that sent me $50 Venmo, I sent you a link, which I don't think you're going to be able to click it, but if you go on, you can either type it out. I realize that it's not clickable on Venmo. Bottom line is you are able to join our March Madness bracket if I sent you the link on Venmo. So I've already sent it out to 56 people. I did that bright and early this morning. Go check it out. Please enter to get in.
The correct answer is Houston.
You think Houston's going to win it all?
H-Town.
Is that who you're going to pick?
I mean, it's not a crazy. They're a number 1 seed, so.
No, I get it. Patrick B, yes, and I sent her the link as well. I mean, to me, Houston is an intriguing team where I always feel like I get bit because I took Virginia one year and I was like, oh, like they're such a great defensive team. And it was the year they lost to like the number 16 seed. With Houston, them getting beat the way that they did at their last game, are you not at least a little bit worried about that?
You get the wins out of the way. Or, I mean, you get the losses out of the way.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, you get the losses out of you. I think Houston, Tennessee both going far because top seeds lost in their conference tournament. I think they're good. I think they got the losses out of the way.
Oh, boy.
Super chat from Ron Campos. Mitch is a man from Glasgow who likes to be too shade in the
Too shade. Have you ever been too shade in the Patrick B, yes, I got Savannah's yesterday. I messaged her. You both are in. Though there's a part of me that I'm curious, and Patrick, I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to match up against each other in round 1, or should I put you like in 2 totally different sides of the bracket?
I think it's fair if you do it 2 separate sides.
That's what I would do. However, though, there's also a part of me where it's like, if you told me I could guarantee myself a spot to race Alex, I mean, that's the other part of it where I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Patrick, doesn't matter. All right, we're probably going to go random. Now, Mount Raidermore is going to get higher seeds, which doesn't really mean anything in our March Madness bracket necessarily, but
they get home river advantage.
Home river advantage. I like it. Let's go to my brother here, Miggy Camacho, a new pick. Coffee cheers, Mitch. Chugs in chat. Let's sign a corner. I think the Raiders are going to be a little bit patient, and I know that it's still out there. Like, people want the Raiders to be making moves. They want people to be making splashes. But, like, realistically, I think the Raiders have made some splashy moves already where you got the big one at Christian Wilkins. Gardner Minshew is a splashy free agency move. It's just not everybody is in love with it. And then on top of that, I think a lot of the moves and the players that the Raiders were able to re-sign are big wins. Like, you being able to bring back Andre James, huge win. You being able to bring back Adam Butler and John Jenkins, huge win. Like, if you were to bring in those players, and they were on other teams this past year where you brought in a center the caliber of Andre James, and then more defensive tackle depth on top of Christian Wilkins, plus, I mean, I like the move of Alexander Mattison now that I know that he's one of the better pass-blocking running backs in the league, can be a good number 2 next to Zamir White. Then you have Harrison Bryant, a solid tight end on top of that. We're doing the right things. They're being patient, and I know that corner is a need, but corner is a fickle mistress right now in that free agency market. I am definitely brown and gold, ride or die, but I am also silver and black all day. I live close to Colorado. F the Broncos.
F-Sam.
I do feel like those are the 2 complete opposite colors. Silver and black, and then brown and gold. Like,
yeah.
I mean, those are complete opposite colors. Complete opposite colors.
All right, if you want to get in our 50-50 raffle today, $20 to enter to get in. And like Mitch said before, only 8 spots left in our March Madness bracket. $50 to enter, and the winner's going to get $1,600.
Which is pretty crazy. I got an entry last night from Gabriel, which, Gabriel, I messaged you already on top of that, and I said that you're in, but we only got 8 more spots left, and I'm telling you right now, I have a feeling by the end of tonight, our March Madness bracket is going to be completely filled, and we're going to get it started on Thursday when the actual games do get underway. I'm telling you right now, if you've been sitting there over the past week and you're like, like Rebel today was saying that Rebel's in, and he was going to wait until tomorrow because tomorrow's Rebel's birthday, and he's like, I didn't want my chance to miss it. I don't want your chance to miss it either, and this is more than likely going to be the last and final day that you're going to be able to get in for our March Madness bracket, which we're going to start on Thursday. If you're like, Mitch, I'm already in the March Madness bracket, I want to participate in the duck race, or if you just want to participate in our duck race today, and that one is a $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365, and the first person that gets in on that one is Justin Gilbert. So, Justin, you in. All right, Jeremy. I got a few segments on tap today for the nation. I want to get into, how about we do the news and rumors last again, kind of like what we've been doing, just in case anything happens in that regard. Then we're going to get into a Mel Kiper mock draft, and then after that is going to be some Raiders winners and losers with free agency, where it's currently at. I wanted to look at the depth chart, which guys that I thought, kind of got kicked in the nuts, some guys that I think are going to be doing a pretty solid job this upcoming year. What up, Real Cowboy? Marcus Epps rocked the brown and gold. I actually didn't know that.
Is it gold? I feel like
For what? Yellow?
It's yellow.
I'm actually with Chugs on this one. Like, I don't look at Wyoming's colors and go brown and gold.
Same
brown
way,
and yellow.
Same way with like LSU. That's not gold. It's yellow. Purple, yellow.
I agree with that.
Like, whenever I think gold, I think of like Notre Dame gold. Like,
okay.
That is a gold.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Okay.
Like Georgia Tech, I feel like that's a gold.
No, you're right. I mean, the Raiders are known as silver and black. Their helmet is silver.
I'm the same guy that, doesn't know maroon from pink. So what do I know about colors? I'm partially colorblind.
That's also true. Are you actually partially colorblind?
I think so. Like self-diagnosed, like
color illiterate.
I'll look at colors and I'll be like, oh, that's green, and somebody's like, that's blue.
Yeah, I feel like, like
maroon and pink.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm right. I just see it differently than y'all.
One of my buddies, he was the catcher on our baseball team, and he also played on my basketball team, my baseball team, my entire life growing up. He would get purple and blues mixed up. And our baseball team, when I was 13 to 15, we were called washies, which back in my hometown, like every single baseball team is named after like a fire department, which is also like not a brewery, but a place where you can go get beers and stuff. Anyway, we're blue, okay? All blue. Like, that's our team colors. My high school was orange and purple. The amount of times he would show up with, like, a blue and purple sock or just, like, the completely wrong colored pants would blow my mind all the time. I'm just like, Kevin, that's not it, man. That's not it. Luckily, I can see all colors from what I know. I don't know. Maybe I am colorblind. Maybe I've never seen a color that I don't recognize, or I've just always thought of one.
Spell I-cup and then say pretty colors.
What?
Spell I-cup and then say pretty colors.
Spell I-cup?
Mm-hmm.
No, I get it.
Rebel, do I get a birthday song from the stream?
On Thursday, yes.
Oh, wait, when's his birthday?
Tomorrow. So let's sing it on Thursday. Yeah, because it's not your birthday yet. I would rather somebody sing happy birthday to me the day after my birthday than the day before.
Really?
Yes. It's not your
I'm
birthday
the
yet.
opposite.
Really?
Yeah, because then the day after, it's like, it's kind of already passed.
But then it's your birthday. You're a year older. You're not a year older yet.
I know, but I'd rather like have it going into. It's like kind of like a Christmas Eve situation, like going into the like birthday Eve. Like
that logic makes sense, which I find interesting with your background. Though I don't know. I still feel like I'd rather happy birthday after my actual
Venom
birthday.
Sosa.
Who was that?
All right, last super chat, and then we're going to get into today's show.
I watched a lot of tape. I do not think any of the top 4 quarterbacks are NFL-ready starters, but maybe Maye thoughts. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a day one ready guy. Jayden, depending on where he ends up landing, like I'm so high on Jayden because I think him with Antonio Pierce with the Raiders would be a good fit. Him with the Commanders, I don't know, man.
Martin said that's like saying have a good weekend on Monday. I don't know if it's exactly like that, but.
It's not a bad analogy. I mean, like, would you rather say have a good weekend on Monday or Friday? You're going to say it on the day before. Mm-hmm. I think it makes sense. I do. But
let's get to 500 likes on the program. We're at 266.
Oh, Christ.
Over 1,200 people watching right now. And while everybody's going down and liking the video, this one is for Rebel Montana. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rebel.
Happy birthday
to you.
Wow. What a amazing voice.
I think after that falsetto, a couple unlikes, but
probably.
I think we're okay.
Probably. Damian Sarpy is in. And then I also see Ron Campos. You sent me $3, which I think you're the first person ever to do that. So if you want in our duck race, I need another 17. If you want in our March Madness, I need another 47. I don't know if you're just testing the water.
Scott said that solo got me bricked up.
Oh, man. All right, Chugs. I say we get into this latest Mel Kiper mock draft. Talk about the Raiders.
Robert Jansen said, what's worse, being colorblind or tone deaf?
Well, I actually don't think you're a bad singer. Like in all honesty, like you can at least sing. I know I can't sing, which is half the reason why I think a lot of times people are okay with you doing the karaoke. Raider Josh, you are in our duck race, which right now means $20 Venmo to win $30.
Somebody said, stop the singing. Just give the man his money.
Stop it. Stop the stream. All right, coming up, Mel Kiper mock draft breakdown. I'm going to tell you who the Raiders ended up took, what I think of the pick overall, and then some draft rumors that are starting to circulate after ESPN's latest mock draft. That's coming up right now here on the Raiders Report. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, we're going to be looking at Mel Kiper's latest mock draft. I'm going to walk you through every single pick, tell you what I think about the Raiders and who they ended up selecting at number 13 overall. And because of this mock draft, the way that the internet works, the way that the media works, is there is a lot of NFL draft rumors that are now circulating. So what I ended up doing is I took my 5 biggest takeaways from this Mel Kiper mock draft. That's all coming up here on today's show. If you find yourself looking for more NFL draft analysis, hit that subscribe button. If you find yourself looking for more draft analysis that is more Raiders focused, hit that subscribe button. We're also going to be live for the 2024 NFL draft. If you thought we had a lot of fun during free agency, the 3 days of the draft where we're going to get the selections before you see them up on TV, I'm telling you right now, it is some of the most fun out there. So make sure that you're tuning in. Make sure you're hanging out with us. Lots and lots of giveaways on top of that. So let's look here at Mel Kiper's 2024 NFL mock draft. Off the board, the top 3 picks. It's pretty simple here. Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, Drake Maye, then Marvin Harrison Jr. This is about as chalky as chalk can get. From picks 5 through 8, you got Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, Joe Alt, Dallas Turner there off the board, which realistically, no real surprises yet for me. From 9 to 12, this is where you got Jared Verse going off, which I do think is a little bit early for him, though I think he's going to be a good pro. Brock Bowers, good fit there. J.J. McCarthy off the board at number 11 to the Minnesota Vikings, and this would be a dream come true if Bo Nix and McCarthy are the first 2 quarterbacks selected right in front of the Las Vegas Raiders. That way you know that there is a 0% chance that Las Vegas ends up taking either of those guys. So based on this Mel Kiper mock and based on how those top 12 picks ended up falling, who would you draft if you're the Raiders? If you're sitting in that war room with Tom Telesco, with Antonio Pierce, they look down and they go, hey, you're Yeah, I'm talking to you. Who are they going to end up taking? Let me know down below, because according to Mel Kiper, with the 13th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select offensive tackle from Alabama, J.C. Latham. This dude is a bulldozer, a mountain of a human being. He is 6'6", 360 pounds, and if you really want to try to establish that physicality, tenacious toughness, like a team where you're going to feel us by the end of this 4 quarters, I can promise you that. J.C. Latham is absolutely one of those picks. And is he going to be the starting right tackle? I would bet my money that, yes, he would end up beating out there Munford. This is why Mel Kiper, though, ended up going with Latham with the Raiders here at pick 13. In my last mock draft, I had the Raiders taking the best interior penetrator in the class in Byron Murphy. Well, that no longer makes sense after they gave free agent Christian Wilkins a massive deal, plugging a hole in the middle of their defense. I'm not rolling out edge rusher or quarterback as a possibility with the pick. They did add Gardner Minshew in free agency to at the very least be a bridge passer, but I keep staring at their depth chart and wondering who's going to play right tackle. Let's fill that void with Latham, the best right tackle in this class. Latham started 27 games at the position in college, surrendering just 2 sacks and 16 total pressures. He can also dominate in the run game with his 6'6", 342-pound frame. Las Vegas is remaking its run game without running back Josh Jacobs, who signed with the Green Bay Packers, and Latham could be an integral part of its rebuild. The Raiders ranked 28th in yards per rush attempt, 3.7 last season. Like, no doubt, you do have to figure out your running game, and moving on from Josh Jacobs, it's not going to be any easier. Sure, the Raiders have Zamir White, Madison Alexander on top of that, so or Alexander Mattison, you have both of those backs. Sure, you could still look for somebody in the draft, but I will say the 3.7 I don't think is nearly as big of an indication on the Raiders' offensive line. I think that has everything more to do with the quarterback play and teams stacking the boxes. But I agree with Mel. Right tackle is a big-time need here for the Silver and Black, and if you were able to get J.C. Latham, I definitely wouldn't be upset about it. So coming up here is going to be my reaction to the Raiders taking Latham at 13. I'm going to go through my scouting report. What does it mean for the Raiders? Because there is a cause and effect with everything. If the Raiders take Latham at 13 overall, what does that mean for right now, Raiders free agency, right? Because we're looking into this crystal ball, and what does it mean in May, June, July, and who ends up starting at right tackle this upcoming season for the Raiders. Before I get into all that, though, shout out to today's sponsor, PrizePicks. And March Madness, it's here, dude. I'm super excited. I know football is no longer around, but I'm excited to test my skills with PrizePicks. So the Raiders Report is made possible by PrizePicks, and they've got specials for new and returning users alike for March Madness when you head over to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Football season may be over, but the action on the hardwood is heating up. Whether it's March Madness or the fight for NBA playoff seeding, there's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of the year. Get on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into some serious cash. March Madness kicks off tonight with the first 4 games, and you can pick more or less right now. PrizePicks is also giving us a free pick for Caitlin Clark's matchup Saturday. Just select more than 0.5 points for Clark and pair it with another winner for 3 times your money. So what I ended up doing here for my picks is this. So Caitlin Clark, I think, is right now must watch, arguably the greatest women's college basketball player of all time. She's going to score at least 1 point. Now I'm going to walk you through my other ones here. I went Joel Scott. Never met the guy, but you know what? 13 points against Virginia. If I know anything about college basketball, Virginia likes to slow it down. Scott averaging 12.9 points per game this year, so I took the less on that. And then Rob Dillingham. He's averaging just over 4 assists this season, going up against a lesser opponent for Kentucky. Give me the more on 4 assists. If this ends up hitting, I put some more money in my pocket. So if you want to get started, it's easy, and it is exciting. PrizePicks is simple. You pick more, then you less on 2 to 6 players, stat projections, and watch the winnings roll in. Get started now, if you haven't already, at prizepicks.com/CLNS and get a first-time deposit match of $100. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Pick more, pick less. It is really that easy. Though, I feel bad for any of the teams defending Caitlin Clark. I'm pretty sure if Chugs and I were defending Caitlin Clark, we'd give up 30 points, no doubt about it. Coming up, my reaction to the Raiders taking J.C. Latham here at number 13. For Mel, he looked at a big-time need. that also tells me that Mel's not 100% sold on Thayer Munford, and if the Raiders end up going with JC at 13, he is going to be battling with Thayer. Like, I don't think that they would just hand the keys to Latham and say, this is your job to go, though I do anticipate that Latham would end up beating out Thayer Munford for that starting right tackle spot. And realistically, you could just kick Thayer Munford in potentially then to play offensive guard, whether you want to put him at right guard, whether you want to put him at left guard. Hell, I actually thought he did a really good job last season playing left tackle, and maybe he's a little bit better on the left side. If it was up to me, and if you took Latham here at 13, you put him at right tackle, call me crazy, I'm going to then kick over Munford to left guard, and I would put Parham at right guard, which there's at times I think like that just might be the better position that he could play. I know this, though. I love Raider fans, but if I have one pet peeve with the nation, it is they judge based on helmet, especially if you burned them in the past. And I already know if the Raiders took JC here at number 13, the amount of, oh man, he's another Alex Leatherwood. If anybody is comparing Alex Leatherwood and J.C. Latham, call them lazy, because simply that is exactly what they are. It's a lazy take. So let's just say it's draft night. Round 1. This is the pick. Latham at 13 to the silver and black. How would you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? A is you absolutely love the pick. B, it's a good move. C, average. D, bad. F is Mayock and Gruden back at the realm. For me, if we end up going this route here, I'm not going to give it an A+, I'm not going to give it an A, but I am going to give it an A- grade. It is a really, really good move for the Raiders considering right now of where their weaknesses are. Like, I don't care who your quarterback is, if you don't address that right side of your offensive line, it's going to be an issue. Whether it's Jayden Daniels, Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, especially if it's your blind side with a dude like Michael Penix Jr., because that's still a possibility. Hell, in Mel Kiper's mock draft, Michael Penix Jr. didn't even get drafted in round 1. So if you ended up taking Latham here, you could potentially trade back up and try to get Penix in the start of round 2. I do like this move a lot. It's an A- grade for me. Now, I know I give my opinion on these players a lot of the times, but there are certain people in the industry that I rely on for their draft knowledge. One of them is Lance Zierlein, and this is what he has to say on J.C. Latham. Bulldozer in human form with the upper and lower body power to forcibly evacuate running lanes and instantly upgrade a team's ground attack. Latham's body type is girthy, and he has elite drive blocking talent. He has operated in a variety of run schemes, but will be an average move blocker both laterally and when climbing into the second level. His pass sets are well balanced with good initial quickness and active hands. He unleashes lefts and rights and mirrors effective after contact, but gets beaten by inside moves when he oversets. He has the length and the hand strength to shut rushers down, but needs to become more comfortable setting diagonally rather than vertically to avoid sinking too deeply into his own pocket. Latham's size, strength, and talent give him a chance to become a heralded right tackle or Pro Bowl caliber guard. So there you see Lance Zierlein throwing out the potential guard here for Latham. I don't really see it just because of the size of him overall, like 6'6", 360. I mean, you're talking about almost like Mekhi Becton type of size. And I know when you hear that type of size, it does scare some people. As long as Latham stays motivated, and if there's one thing that I'm not too worried about, where I was worried about in years past, you bring in a big guy like this, like how motivated are they going to be? Because as soon as you get out of shape a little bit, that's a lot of weight to put on your body. I'm confident that Antonio Pierce, this regime led by Max Crosby, led by Christian Wilkins, is going to make sure that every single player is in the best shape of their life season. Coming up next here, let's get into some NFL draft rumors from this Mel Kiper mock. And when I say draft rumors, it's Mel puts together a mock and then everybody reacts to it. It's what the media does. It's what I do. It's what a lot of people end up doing. So to me, I have cliff notes on the 5 biggest things that I noticed from round 1. Before I get into those, if you want to check out my Raiders round 1 draft targets, I dropped that video on Tuesday morning. Bottom line, we hear all the time the Raiders aren't going to be trading up for a quarterback. So what I decided to do is rank and do this realistically of players that could actually be available to the Raiders at 13, and I ended up ranking the top 15 prospects there. If you want to go check out this video, it's going to be in the comments. It's going to be in the description of today's show. So let's look here at the draft rumors from Mel Kiper. One is the top 3 teams are taking a quarterback, which the more and more things that come out, the more and more I'm starting to wonder, is this the truth? Now, I will admit there was a report that came out today or yesterday around the Patriots which said that apparently they like Malik Neighbors. Maybe they end up going that route. I will admit, though, if the Patriots end up trading out, I see the Raiders would be interested if Jayden's on the board, but I also know that Minnesota's going to be interested if Drake Maye is on the board. 5 quarterbacks drafted before pick 13 I did think was kind of wild. I would say 4 right now. I do not see Bo Nix going in that early. If he ends up going to the Denver Broncos, though, at 12, I might go streaking through the quad. There is tons, and I mean tons, of offensive line talent in round 1. So considering the fact that the Raiders have addressed a lot of these needs already in free agency, and if they roll into the draft with no tackle talent at all, I'm going to be okay just because of how deep the tackle talent is, and I do think that there Munford deserves at least a shot. 5 cornerbacks projected in round 1, according to Mel, and Rakestraw wasn't one of them, who I see as being a potential round 1 corner out of Missouri. And the fact that Michael Penix was the quarterback that fell out of round 1, I thought was shocking. Like, if Bo Nix and 5 other quarterbacks go in the top 12, I just have a hard time believing that Penix doesn't get drafted from 13 to 32. Like, whether that's a team trading back up into round 1. It's a lot of quarterbacks to go, and then there's no quarterbacks to go. But that's what mock draft season is. You stack it with QBs and then watch them fall. It happens every single year. If you haven't already, make sure you guys give me a follow on IG and on Twitter. Doing my best to keep you guys up to date on all things going on around the silver and black, going on around the NFL, keeping you up to date. And if you also want to give my man Chugs a follow on Twitter as well, there he is, at Jeremy Chugs. Seriously, those links also are going to be available in the comments and description. He wants me to tell you that he has the dankest memes, which probably means multiple things. So if you guys are into dank shit, go give Jeremy a follow at Jeremy Chugs. Woo! What team could be a Cinderella team this tournament? There's one answer and one answer only.
Oakland.
Well, all right, 2 answers. I mean, I said this. If Oakland ends up beating Kentucky, do we do watch parties?
I think we do.
I kind of want to do one. An Oakland watch party against Kentucky? You can't tell me that wouldn't be electric.
I think that would be absolutely invigorating.
McNeese? McNeese is going to take down Gonzaga, I'm telling you.
Let's see.
You guys heard it here first. McNeese is going to take down Gonzaga.
Cinderella. Wait,
I'm listening.
I got to see who's playing them.
UNLV is going to win the NIT. I'll admit I'm not watching the NIT. St.
Peter's? Could St. Peter's be they're a 15 seed, they're playing Tennessee?
I hope not, because I took Tennessee really far. I really hope not. I actually think I have Tennessee in my title game, so that would be devastating for me.
McNeese, I have them losing in round 1. I don't have any 15 or 16 seeds winning because it's the fun pick.
Okay.
But also,
I'm going with Oakland.
You know who I did have making it a little bit far to the Sweet 16? Grand Canyon.
I think the biggest underdog I have McNeese in my Elite 8.
Yeah.
I think part of it, of March Madness, is just saying F it. Every year it happens.
I have Dayton in my Elite 8.
I have Dayton very far as well, actually. I actually think I have Dayton in my Elite 8, now that you say that. Because they're in the bottom, right?
I know a popular pick has been Creighton to go far. I actually have them losing in round 2 to South Carolina.
Okay. Who does South Carolina play? Because I have South Carolina losing. Yeah, I have Oregon. I have Oregon going far.
I don't know. I saw South Carolina play in the SEC tournament.
Yep.
Thought they looked good.
Well, Oregon just got back one of their star players, and he was hurt for a majority of the year, and then they ended up winning the Pac-12. So.
And you decided not to tell me this? Or?
I did right now. I'm telling you right now. So I know Oregon's kind of an interesting team. The amount of college basketball knowledge I have is very minimal.
I have Drake winning round 1, but Iowa State absolutely demolished Texas. So I have them going kind of far. I have them going to the Elite 8 and then losing to UConn.
I have Iowa State winning that region.
But I mean, it was really hard. I ended up picking UConn and Houston for the championship game. Both 1 seeds, kind of chalky, kind of boring. But
see, one thing I usually try to do is like Harrison's a TCU guy. I'll pick the team going up against I'll pick the team to beat TCU.
So you want to see your friends.
Like I know Brett hates Iowa State, so let's go Iowa State Final Four.
So you went St. Peter's?
No, I ended up taking Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up taking Tennessee. I actually think Tennessee is going to do well. They have good guard play. I'm big. You got to be a big guard guy for March Madness.
Big Gardner.
Yep. Hey, that's the word on the street. All right, y'all. I see a lot of answers here.
We do have a super chat.
I do have a super chat from Santana. Encore Chugs. More singing from Jeremy Chugs.
If we get to 500 likes in the next 30 seconds, I'll sing another song.
Well, I'll tell you this. We got some new people in for our March Madness bracket.
Hey.
Also, Ron Campos sent me $17, so he's in the
Hell yeah.
He's in the duck race.
$20 to get in the duck race. $50. 7 spots left?
Way less than that. Hang on. I got to run the numbers here. No Garcia. March Madness is in. Adam White. He's got a picture of Kentucky, so that makes me Oakland against Kentucky. Adam White. March Madness is in. And then I see L.A. Crash Dog, which I want to make sure Gunny's not in already, and I don't believe that he is. L.A. Crash Dog is in for our March Madness bracket, which means we have 59 people in, Chugs. We only have 5 more spots left. 5 spots remaining. One person's going to win $1,600, and I'm telling you, it's going to be electric. You're gonna wish that you got in.
And for those trolling in the comments, no, the Raiders did not sign Mike Williams.
Correct. If they do, I'll let you know. I mean, they haven't even met with him.
We'll be live.
Moshav, you in. Rob Fravor, you in. And then I see Robert Boone also in for our duck race today, which right now, $20 Venmo for a chance to win. As it stands, $70 here on the Raider Sport. Paul Ruiz said, get me in the March Madness.
We did not sign Mike Williams.
That is correct. Yeah, I don't see anything on Mike Williams. If we do, I'll tell you what, if the Raiders end up signing Williams, we might go wild.
At Dark Cat, we signed him. Trust me, bro.
Oh, he's one of those guys. Paul Ruiz, you in.
Troll.
PG2869, you in. Jeremy, 3 spots left in March Madness. We're going to fill it today. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. Also, Jason EB, you're in for our duck race. 2 spots.
LA Crash Dog, what's up, fam? I'm up. What did I miss? Just hit my Venmo for March Madness and the duck race.
This guy F's around, as
Raider
you can see in
Nation
his
for
picture.
life, real one for life. Semper Fi. Can't wait to see that Semper Fi jersey.
It's gonna hit, man. The Semper Fi jersey is gonna hit, and this is one of those that I had to get. I had to get in white, not black, because I usually try to get the Raiders black jerseys because they're a lot easier to clean, and you don't see sometimes the
beer stains.
Yeah, beer stains. I was going to think of another word. Beer stains on the black jerseys, but you do see them a little bit on the whites. But we've been trying to get like the.
It's like that scene from The Waterboy when she has his bed sheets hanging up.
Oh, dude, it's
those are his bed sheets.
It's the truth, though. I mean, the amount of beer that I have on my one jersey back there, I'm not going to tell you which one because you'll start looking for it. The amount of beer that I have on it, though, it's just like, yeah, it's brutal. What up, J. Roy? Defense is looking good. You spelled good wrong. It should say great. But the offense has me worried. Zamir is unproven, and Mattison is washed. Raiders going nowhere with AOC or Minshew starting. All right, so I'll say this. The Raiders, to me, have a top 5 defense, and they're going to have a top 5 defense this upcoming season, and that's if they add a legit number 1 corner, right? Like, and I'm talking a legit number 1 corner. You have arguably the best offensive line in the NFL. I would say if you asked all 32 NFL GMs who's got the best offensive line, Raiders are at least top 5 by every account. Your linebacker room could get better. Okay, you got Divine Diablo, you got Robert Spillane. There's some weakness in there. Then your secondary. If you had a legit corner, it's not too often that I think teams have like a solid cornerback two in Jack Jones, two very good safeties in Marcus Epps and Trevon Merrick, and then whoever else you add. And then on top of that, you're going into another year with Antonio Pierce, which I would anticipate is better than Josh McDaniels, and then another year in the Patrick Graham system. Zamir is unproven, but you're just asking him and Mattison to just get you by. Mattison did come off a bad season, but he is also a very good pass-blocking running back, which is an important role. I will admit that I'm not going to say the Raiders go nowhere, because if you do have a legit top 3 defense, and the Raiders, as great as what their defense was last year and as bad as what the quarterback play, they still were 8-9. Like I still think with AOC, with Gardner, you're going to be winning 8, 9, maybe 10 games again. Like I don't see the Raiders going backwards with their quarter. Like I get it. You're not inspired by AOC and Gardner. It's still better quarterback play than what you had last season. Mike Williams signing with the New York Jets. Breaking news. Mike Williams, 1-year deal worth up to $15 million with the Jets. I mean, I get why they're doing it, but you're going to put Mike Williams on that turf, on that field? Yikes. That's an injury waiting to happen.
The field at MetLife is about to take Mike Williams' legs next season.
Holy cow. Matthew Lozano is in for our March Madness bracket.
If I was a player with injury history, no way am I signing with the Jets or the Giants. That field is trash.
Louis Avina is in for our March Madness bracket, which Jeremy means
Rodgers?
1 spot left.
One spot left?
There is 1 March Madness spot left. Imagine you're looking for a flight and it says 1 seat left. That's what we're looking at right now. Randall Carter, you are in for our duck race today. Who's going to be the last one in?
Nav, man, I didn't miss your super chat. We read this one, right?
Yes.
That's the last one you sent, unless
there's a new one there, Nav, man. So let us know. I think I still got to send a few more invitations, but Mike Williams, 1 year up to $15 million. I mean, if he can stay healthy, obviously he can be a reliable receiver, but do you really think that that's going to happen? Like over under 10 games for Mike Williams this year.
Yeah.
Honest question.
Over under?
Yep.
Oh. Give me over, because I don't ever want to bet on guys getting injured. I hope he stays healthy. But like I said, every game that he plays at MetLife is a risk.
There's no doubt. Every game he plays is a risk. And I am proudly to announce that we have filled our March Madness bracket. The final name goes to Trevor Robledo. Trevor Robledo, which I know for a fact is not how you pronounce that last name. So we are all full. We are all full for March Madness. Wild. So what I'm going to end up doing tomorrow, because we're not live, is I'm going to make the bracket tomorrow. And then we input it into the graphic thing that we have, and then we'll have that ready for Thursday when the games actually get tipped off.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. Ultra, fill the last 2 bracket spots.
We just did.
Just did, man. We just did.
Kent, big-time Raiders Report fan, also Chat Sports fan. Could UFC coverage be in the future? One of my best friends actually loves the UFC, watches every single UFC fight night, watches every single UFC pay-per-view. And he's been saying he wants to do some UFC coverage.
So I feel like the only way you'd be able to do it is if it was mainly like betting focus, I guess. But
also, I feel like it would have to be somebody who's remote, like a micro mic.
Yeah, I mean we've done UFC coverage before here. Has never done very well, unfortunately. Now, maybe with some of the newer fights.
Maybe I'm talking out of my rear end. I also think we've never had anybody who's like ingrained in the UFC.
Correct. Correct. No, you're not wrong there. I mean, we tried to do something, like I said, live a few years ago. Like, the way I would want to do it is not just UFC coverage. I would want it to be like all fighting, so that way, you could get the Jake Paul fight.
High school fights.
Nope. We're not going world star here.
Oh, Miss Williams against Kent Baggett.
Though celebrity deathmatch would go hard.
Dude, you remember we were talking, or actually, I don't need to put this up anymore because we already filled it.
That's right.
We were talking about old MTV the other day.
Yep.
Did you ever watch Bully Beatdown?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Great show.
Justin Salazar, you in. Yeah, Bully Beatdown was low-key. I mean, it was always an interesting show. I think it also just showed like how amazing those UFC fighters were because, I mean, they would literally just like walk into the ring. I think only one time I saw somebody like not win any money. There was one time there was like one of the bullies hung tough.
Dude, the end of the show they're like, dude, we tried. You get bullied now. He won. That's the prize. If he wins,
he was throwing up on the side, like, because he just got, like, he was just taking kicks after kicks to the gut. And I forget what the guy's, like, his like, nickname was, like, the Wolf, like, the actual, like, UFC fighter. And, bro, this dude's, like, stomach, he was Jack the Bully, but you could see, like, the welt that grew on this man's stomach. We have some more breaking news here. Jonathan Hankin, former Raider, signing with the Seahawks. Defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins signing with the Seattle Seahawks. So there has been some speculation around that move there.
LA Crash Dog, combine UFC boxing and wrestling. Mitch is a big WWE guy.
Though I would like to, I still want to go to a live wrestling match. Like, I want to go to a WWE event live. Because watching it on TV is lame. I can't do it on TV.
Oh, dude, watching it live?
Watching it live would be fun. Like, when Alex got to go the other day, I watched it on TV, and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me, man.
This ain't for me.
This ain't for me.
Real Cowboy, Tyson versus Paul is a real-life celebrity death match. Tyson said, I'm going to whoop that ass.
Dude, I don't know how I feel about that fight. Like, I feel like somebody that old should not be boxing. Like, I know that he's arguably the greatest heavyweight champ of all time.
Is it real?
What, the fight?
Yeah, like, are they just going to be tapping gloves?
Maybe. And maybe that's what ends up happening. But, like,
could you imagine also, like, if Jake Paul somehow knocked out Mike Tyson?
I can. I mean, at that age, all it takes, I feel like, is, which, in any fight, one big hit. But especially, how old is Mike Tyson?
It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and get knocked down and keep on getting back up.
He is 57 years old, Jeremy. 57. Like, I know Paul is...
old man strength.
Yep, okay. I'm just saying, dude, you get punched by somebody who, you can say what you want about Jake Paul. He's put in a lot of work and effort into becoming a better boxer. But you get hit by that. I'll tell you this, though. If Tyson lands one, I think Paul's going to sleep. And God, I hope he goes to sleep.
But see, that's the thing. I think they're going to have some stipulation where they're like, yo, no, don't knock anybody out.
Then why even do it?
For the money.
I get it. No, I get it, but see, I don't feel like that you can do that because if word were to ever get out, if every fight that he does is just that, nobody's going to watch anymore. Like, I haven't watched the Jake Paul fight probably since the first one that he did. Which, yeah, I don't know. Not a fan. Not a fan. Also, Mike Williams had upcoming visits with the Panthers and Steelers, but he decided not to go to those and go to the Jets. Wild, man. So to the person saying earlier that Mike Williams to the Raiders, you spelt Raiders wrong. You spelt it wrong. All right, y'all, coming up. Can we still join I don't know what this is, TR.
Can we still join the 50 Venmo March Madness for the big one? Nope.
March Madness is totally filled.
It's filled up.
If you want to get in our other duck race, which is today, which is a $20 Venmo, then the answer to that is yes. You can get in that one, but in terms of the March Madness, it's filled.
Closed.
I've been telling people for a week.
I think it has to be only 64 because we can't do the 68 where it's like the first win because then it's not fair because then somebody has to race more times.
I agree. And I thought about it like if I got extra entries like just in case, but our rankings are going to be just random rankings, right? Like there's a reason why some teams have to play to get into the tournament. So, I decided that we're not going to do that. Salvador Lucas, you in. Which I'm wondering if that's Salvador.
93 Navman. How about we'll post the bracket on our community page once we make one
tomorrow?
No, just once we make the bracket.
Yep.
We can just post it on our community page on the Raiders YouTube.
Just don't know if that's going to be big enough. I'll probably post. Honestly, I'll probably just post it on my Twitter. Because what we'll end up doing is, because the way that our graphics work is what? It's 16, 16, 16, 16. So we'll just put all that together on a tweet, and we'll go from there. But you'll be able to see the bracket also like in our graphics package, like up on screen.
Yeah.
Like we have a March Madness, we'll call it graphics package. That way you guys will be able to just keep up to date with all these races. And kind of the plan that I was thinking about doing is whenever like the actual games are going down is when we'll end up doing our March Madness duck races and stuff like that. So whenever the actual Final Four national championship game is, we'll probably do that like on the Friday before the Monday of the game. So you guys will be able to stay up to date. All right, let's get into another segment coming up here on today's show, which again, we're trying to get to 500 likes. We are very, very close. If you could help us out, that would be very, very much appreciated. Next segment coming up here is winners and losers so far. And I like to do this segment, and a lot of stuff can change, obviously, because the Raiders can go out and sign more players. You could also see some guys that could get cut, and maybe that changes up some of my answers on these. But what I decided to do here is look at some of the biggest winners and losers for the Las Vegas Raiders so far. Let me get a quick sip of my coffee here.
Glug, glug, glug.
Timothy Bush, Mitch and Chugs kick major arse. I'm an arse man.
Oh, no!
I'll be honest. I'm an arse man. You ready, Chuggy Bull? Chug's giving me the nod. Coming up here on the show, let's talk about some winners and losers for the Silver and Black. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, I got some Raiders winners and losers after free agency so far. Like, I am making this video on Tuesday, and there might be some things that end up changing, and there might be some things that, cuts, more signings. A lot of stuff can happen. But based on the free agent signings that the Raiders have made so far, at the time that I am filming this on Tuesday, coming up here, I'm going to show you the biggest winners and the biggest losers for the Silver and Black. I like to start glass half full. So let's start with the winners here. First name coming up is going to be Malcolm Kuntz at the defensive end position. Basically, all the defensive ends are big-time winner here for the Raiders, but especially Malcolm, because the way that I look at this team, you're coming off a solid year with Antonio Pierce, all 8 of those sacks in the final 9 games with AP. Now you have Malcolm on one side. It's going to be Max Crosby on the other side. Then there's going to be a rotation of Christian Wilkins, Adam Butler, John Jenkins, Tyree Wilson. You mix all that, no matter who's on the field, no matter what the combination is, the person that is going to get the least amount of attention, I'm telling you, is going to be Malcolm Kuntz. He's got 1 year left on his deal. He's about to have a career year. I am anticipating double-digit sack numbers for Malcolm this upcoming year, and because of that, that makes him a winner. The other reason that I have him a winner is because the depth for the defensive ends, it's not a lot. It's not very great, right? Like, that's keeping it a buck with y'all. And if the Silver and Black do legitimately consider kicking in Tyree Wilson to be predominantly a defensive tackle type of player, that's even more opportunities for Malcolm. And with the Raiders bringing 4, Malcolm's going to get one-on-one opportunities, and I believe that Kuntz is going to take advantage of those one-on-ones. Let's go to the next winner here on the Raiders Report, and it's Gardner Minshew. I believe that Minshew is a clear winner here because he has an opportunity to be the starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't view Gardner as a top 25 QB. There's not a lot of places that Minshew could have went to where he could have been a legitimate starting option. I'm not saying he is the starter. He's going to be competing with Aiden O'Connell, but in a world where, let's say that the Raiders potentially miss out on getting a QB in the draft, getting a QB that's like legitimately worth contending for a spot. If you're Gardner, you got 2 years, $25 million, $15 million guaranteed, and you got to battle Aiden O'Connell to be a starting quarterback on a team that's got tons of talent around you on the offense and on the defensive side of the football. So let's have this quarterback discussion, which I know we're going to be talking about tons and tons and tons the entire offseason, so you might as well get ready. You might as well get used to it. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, which means you're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break. Let the ad play. Believe it or not, it helps out Chugs and I a lot. Scroll on down while that ad is playing and give me your honest opinion. Who is the better quarterback? Is it Gardner Minshew or is it Aiden O'Connell? My answer after this ad break. My answer is Gardner Minshew. I am just simply saying that I am a believer that you would win more games with Gardner Minshew at quarterback than you would Aiden O'Connell. I can also sit up here and say there's a part of me that wonders if Aiden continues to get starts underneath his belt, could he potentially develop into a better quarterback than Gardner when he's 28 years old? My point is, though, if I'm talking about this year and this year only, the QB that I have more faith in to win more football games, I'm going to roll with Gardner Minshew and that mustache. Let's go to the next winner here for the Silver and Black, and that's at the wide receiver position. It is Tre Tucker. The reason why Tucker's a big-time winner, similar to some of the things that I said about Malcolm, it's also similar to Tre. Like, if Tucker's out there on the field and he's next to Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and Michael Mayer, the number one player that people aren't going to be worried about is Tucker. And I do anticipate that you're going to see a lot more pre-snap motion. You're going to anticipate him being on the field a whole lot more. Also, the fact that the Raiders decided to move on from Hunter Renfrow, which is not really too much of a surprise to anybody, but the fact that they did finally do it puts Tucker in this position now to be that starting slot receiver. On top of that, Christian Wilkerson, I don't even know if he's a lock to make this team. DJ Turner, I don't even know if he's a lock to make this roster. So where it stands right now, there is a clear-cut top 3 wide receivers, and Tre Tucker makes that list. Let's go to the next name here. It's Thayer Munford at the right side of the offensive line, and Munford might play on the left side. He can play on the right side. He can play multiple position, offensive guard, offensive tackle. It just depends how the rest of this offensive line ends up situating itself out. But for the Raiders, when they decided to not bring back Jermaine Illuminor goes and he signs with the New York Giants on a 2-year, $14 million deal, which then opens up the possibility of Munford potentially being a starting offensive tackle in the NFL. When you're drafted in round 7, it's not too often that you do get an opportunity to start. And for Munford and everything that I hear, it does sound like that the Raiders are pretty high on the young man out of Ohio State. With not a lot of other positions, there not a lot of other depth at that spot. If the Raiders want to go in the draft, which I'm hoping that they do end up trying to find a starting right tackle in the draft, you could still kick Munford in, who has played guard, whether he can play left side, whether that can be on the right side. I am anticipating right now that the Raiders view Thayer Munford as being a potential starting option for the Silver and Black. Before I get into my final winner here on the show, to stay up to date on all the things going on, Raiders, free agency, draft, hit that subscribe button, news, breaking stories, we go live. Anytime the Raiders do something, I'm making a video around it. So if you want to know more about this team than all your buddies, subscribe, turn on those noties. And I got to give a shout out to the Noti Gang. If you don't know what the Noti Gang is, these are the people that are subscribed. They got the notifications turned on. And as soon as I drop a video, they take pride because they know, hey, when you drop a comment on one of my videos, believe it or not, it helps me out a lot. When you do it fast, it helps me out. So I know that not every single person can send in a super chat. I know that some people are like, Mitch, I am already subscribed. If you are already subscribed and you can't send in a super chat, or if you're just like, how can I support the show? Join the Noti Gang, comment on the video as soon as I drop it. It does help us out a lot. So Adrian, Steve, and Rob of Sin City, I salute you. Thanks for being a part of the Noti Gang. Let's go to the final name here. It is Zamir White. And Zamir White is a clear winner from free agency. Yes, the Raiders have added a little bit more running back competition in Alexander Mattison. But the reason why Zamir White is a winner, Josh Jacobs isn't a part of this backfield anymore. And he's going to get an opportunity to be the legit RB1 of this team. how good he finished last season. Those final 4 games, he was very, very impressive. And now he's going to get that opportunity to be the main back. Now, Telesco's still going to incorporate multiple running back sets. They're still going to incorporate a bunch of different looks here. But when you consider the fact that Zamir's really only got to worry about Britton Brown, Sincere McCormick, whose name I see right now I don't have on the running back depth chart, but then all you're competing is Zamir, Alexander Mattison. You're still going to get some third down running back work in there from Amir Abdullah on top of that. But for White entering his 3rd year in the NFL, he's finally getting an opportunity to be the man. I just really, really hope that he can stay healthy. I know he's had some ACL injuries in the past. So I want to say he's tore his ACL twice in his career, one time in high school, another time in college, but he's going to get his opportunity, and if he can play the way that he did at the back half of last season, there's going to be a lot of Raider fans chanting Zeus and a lot of people saying Josh Jacobs, who? Coming up next here on the show, it's the part that I hate doing, but sometimes, you got to do what you got to do, and it's the losers in free agency so far, which actually was a lot more difficult to make than the winners. Like, I could have probably made a whole nother list for more winners, but I decided to go 5 and 5. Before I get into those losers, though, one person who's a winner is Christian Wilkins, and it's got to feel unbelievable signing a 4-year, $110 million contract. And if anybody wants to pre-order their Christian Wilkins Raiders t-shirts, here is your opportunity to do it now, because I am telling you, they are going ASAP Rocky type of fast. Chatsports.com/Wilkins is going to be the link, which is available to you down in the comments and in the description of today's show. I want to say that they come in all shapes and sizes, though obviously there's certain sizes that have more than others. I will say that I know it says 00. Wilkins is number 94. Our sponsor here, they didn't want to put a number on it in case he decided not to go with 94, so this graphic was made before the official announcement of Wilkins rocking 94. So when you order it, it's not going to say 00. It'll say the actual number that Wilkins ends up picking, which is number 94. So if you want it, get it, because they are going to go quick, and then you're not going to be able to get one for a very long time. It's just how stocking works. Chatsports.com/Wilkins. Let's go to some losers now from free agency. Realistically, you could probably put the defensive tackle position in general up here, but I'm going to single out Byron Young at DT, and I don't really need to spell it out for you. This was a healthy scratch a bunch last season, was not really able to stay healthy on top of that. Then when you consider the fact that he was a 3rd-round pick for our previous regime, this regime that we have with Telesco, with AP, have absolutely positively no ties to Byron Young, and if they want to cut the cord, they could potentially do it this offseason and not pay a lot of money. Another name, which I'm going to throw in here, is Matthew Butler, another defensive tackle. That was selected by Ziegler and Josh McDaniels, somebody who was on the practice squad a little bit, didn't make the 53-man roster last year, which if you watch the show, should not have surprised anybody. We were saying back in April that Neil Farrell Jr., Matthew Butler weren't going to be on the 53-man roster, and once you know it, it ends up happening. But, legitimately look at the Raiders' defensive tackle room. They had a priority, right? By you signing Wilkins to the contract that you did, by you going out and getting John Jenkins, by you bringing back Adam Butler, you made a decision to put in a lot of chips in one pile. What does that tell me? That you don't have a lot of confidence in Byron Young, Marquand McCall, Matthew Butler, Nesta Jade Silvera. Now, I will admit, the Raiders have more ties with Nesta Jade, and they also signed Marquand McCall last year, which makes me believe out of all the names that you see up here on screen, Byron Young and Matthew Butler are the 2 biggest losers from the Raiders in free agency so far. But I do want to try to spin this in a little bit of a positive light, because we've seen guys take that jump in year 2. It happens all the time, and maybe now the fact that you're in that 2nd year in a Patrick Graham system, you continue to get better. That's the hope, right? For Matthew Butler, it'll be his 3rd. For Byron Young, it'll be a 2nd year. Who do you have more confidence in, though, right? At this point, you're hoping that Byron and Matthew are your 4th rotational defensive tackle, and then maybe even your 5th, depending on where Tyree Wilson ends up playing. Are you more confident in Byron Young, or are you more confident in Matthew Butler? For me personally, I'm more confident in Byron Young's ability, but I'm not confident in either of these guys. So I will type my BY, but I'd be lying to say that I can look you dead in the eyes and say that these names really excite me. Let's go to the next loser here on the Raiders board. It's Britton Brown at the running back position, and the reason why Brown is a loser to me is because, yes, the Raiders decided to move on from Josh Jacobs. However, though, they brought back Ameer Abdullah. You sign Alexander Mattison. They're going to roll with Zamir White. And ultimately, I just don't think he's that good of a back. Somebody who also was a part of that old regime, somebody who's not going to get a lot of opportunity. You can move on from him rather easily, and it's not going to cost you a whole lot of money. So the fact that Britton Brown has struggled as much as what he has to stay healthy, I don't see him making this roster. Therefore, it makes him a loser here in my book. So Zamir White, Alexander Mattison, Britton Brown thought, you know what, maybe if we don't sign another running back, I got a shot. Unfortunately, that does not happen, which then brings me to my next loser here. And like I said, finding the losers was a lot more difficult just based off certain positions, but I'm going to go Sincere McCormick. And, you know, for people that watch this show, I like Sincere. I don't like him nearly as much as what my man Graff does. But, like, if you were McCormick, you got to be sitting there going, all right, I might actually have a shot here to get on this roster. I might have a legitimate chance to prove myself, and then the Raiders go out and they sign Alexander Mattison. So that one's kind of got to be a little bit of a gut punch. And if the Raiders do end up drafting a running back, that makes this even more difficult. If you're McCormick, if you're Britton Brown, you're probably sitting back going, I really, really hope that the Las Vegas Raiders don't take a back in the draft, because then I'm saying I got a shot, because you're going to keep Zamir, you're going to keep Alexander, you're going to keep Ameer Abdullah, and I would anticipate that you keep another running back on your 53-man, and then everybody else probably just goes on the practice squad. It could be between McCormick and Britton Brown for that final spot. If they end up drafting a back, though, I don't know if either guy makes the roster. The final loser here in free agency for me is Cole Fotheringham, the tight end. He is the fourth-string tight end as it stands right now for the Silver and Black. And the reason why I'm going to list him as a loser is because with the signing of Harrison Bryant, I don't view Fotheringham as making this team. If I was Las Vegas, I'm keeping 3 tight ends. I'm keeping, obviously, Michael Mayer. I'm going to keep Harrison Bryant, and then you're going to keep one more spot. That's between Zach Gentry, Cole Fotheringham, and then John Schnenker, who was a UDFA from Auburn just a few years ago. So, to me, Gentry probably has the inside track. He's 6'8", so that does offer you at least a little bit of that red zone presence. Yes, you could cut him and save $1.1 million. The fact that the Raiders haven't done that yet, I just think that that's the room that they're the most confident in for the tight end position room. On top of that, if that's another position that they could absolutely target on day 3 in round 5, round 6 of the NFL draft, which adds even more competition to the mix there. So let's look at these Raiders winners and losers after free agency so far. There's definitely some names that I could have thrown in there. If you guys want to add a few more, please don't be shy. Make sure that you do so. Like, if you want to give me a few more winners, go for it. If you want to give me a few more losers, hey, go for it on top of that. But to me, there was a lot more winners that I could have picked than losers overall. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, please don't be shy. Do it. Post it on IG. Post it on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. And this list is based on the biggest winners and losers for the Las Vegas Raiders after 1 week of free agency for the Silver and Black right now. Be real with me here. Also, I forgot to switch my jersey, which I forgot to do yesterday on top of that. So let me switch my jersey here real quick. I do have one. Shout out to Ron Raspberry. He's getting 2 segments today. What up, James Guevara? Let's go. What did I miss? Honestly, the biggest thing that you've missed today, Mike Williams ended up going to the Jets, and we have officially filled our March Madness bracket.
I mean, maybe the biggest news of the day. Yeah. Filling out the March Madness bracket. Let me know, scale 1 to 10, what's your confidence level in AP and Telesco in the 2024 NFL Draft? I know this is a hot button issue. I know this is a sore subject when it comes to Raider fans of the regimes in the past that have drafted round 1 especially. It's a sore subject, a very sore subject when you look at the past 5, 6, 7 years with Raider draft classes, especially in the first couple rounds. But let me know, what's your confidence level in AP and Telesco? Telesco's drafted pretty well for the Chargers. I mean, they've had a lot of talent come through. Say what you will about the Chargers and how they've performed in the long run, but I mean, Rashawn Slater was a good pick. Derwin James was a good pick. Mike Williams, even though they ended up having to release him, the talent was there. I think that was still a good pick by them. He was a talented wide receiver. Obviously, they extended him before releasing him, so I think that was a good pick. But, I mean, how do you feel, Mitch, about this front office, this regime going into the draft? Because the biggest question mark always with the Raiders in the offseason is who are they going to draft and why is it going to be a very surprising name? Because the Raiders never seem to pick somebody who you expect them to pick in round 1.
Yeah, well, first off, Justine Gonzalez, you are in, which makes our 50-50 raffle now is winner would get 130. I've said it before, until Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco give me a reason to not trust them with the Raiders, I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to have full confidence in them and I'm going to believe in what they're doing.
You're going 10.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a 10 just because, I would give somebody a 10, for a regime that's proven themselves time and time again. I'd probably be a 7 or an 8 right now, but I also think that the reason why that the failures happen in years past is because you had John Gruden, who thought his shit didn't stink and thought, all right, I walk on water, I can make all the picks that I want to pick. And then Mayock, that was why you brought him in. They didn't let Mayock do his thing, so bad communication there. Then with McDaniels and Ziegler, exact same thing. You had McDaniels who thought his shit didn't stink, God guy, and then no communication there. I'm hoping with Telesco and Antonio Pierce.
If reports are right, if it was up to Ziegler, C.J. Stroud would be a Raider right now.
Correct, which I was talking to Wasted and Graff over the weekend, and Wasted told me that he didn't think that the Raiders would be a Super Bowl caliber team with C.J. Stroud. And I was like, I don't even know how you say that's possible, but
that's what Wasted said.
Yes.
And he wants AOC to be the quarterback.
Not that he wants AOC to be the quarterback. I just think he's not as against it as what I am.
And he thinks
it's a whole. That's a whole nother discussion. I don't want to.
Oh my God!
That's a whole nother discussion. But I have confidence in the Raiders because so far what they are doing in free agency, I agree with. The Gardner move is a little bit of a peculiar one to me, though. You're paying that extra money to have insurance, which I've said before, I'm starting to understand the idea why they did it. But, you're building in the trenches. They have rebuilt the defensive tackle room. They have built the offensive line with Andre James, bringing him back. I get some of the moves that they are doing, and they're not done yet. So, now if we were to just enter the draft with the exact same team as we have right now, my confidence would go down a little bit.
The only way I can see that logic playing out and making sense is being if the Raiders had C.J. Stroud, Josh McDaniels would still be the head coach, and it wouldn't work out. That's the only way that I see that thought process of the Raiders not being a Super Bowl caliber team with C.J. Stroud working out. Because I think...
Well, Wasted's thing was that he didn't think that the Raiders had a Super Bowl caliber roster with, that they don't have a Super Bowl caliber roster, which I agree with. However, if you add C.J. Stroud to this Raiders team, they are a Super Bowl contender, was my point. They still have a lot of other moves that they can make in free agency, which I anticipate that they're going to do. But if you have a top 5 defense, which by all accounts, I view the Raiders as going to have a top 5 defense, and if you add a quarterback like Stroud, that makes them a Super Bowl caliber team.
I also think last year, you're looking at one of the biggest weaknesses of the Raiders, their running game. If you have C.J. Stroud, they're not stacking the box with 8, 9 guys.
Correct.
Josh Jacobs is getting 4.3 yards per carry.
Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree with you. But, hey, let's go to TR. No, we are fully booked here for our 50-50 raffle for March Madness. So, unfortunately, that answer is no.
Daniel Caps Keenum. See, I tried it again today. I read y'all's stuff. I read what y'all are trying to say. I tried it today, but
You can push it. It just looks grainy.
Yeah, the shirt that I'm wearing, I don't know why. It's messing up with the.
It's a blue shirt, which obviously you guys can see.
Which it wasn't messing up earlier when I did a video.
No, I don't really know. I'll say this. One of the things
I think it's because I don't have light on me. I don't have enough light.
One of the things that's in the works here at Chat Sports Raiders Report is we've been saving up. We're trying to get our very own studio for Jeremy and I. We share a bunch of studios here at Chat Sports. Usually we get, it's called Studio A, which is the main studio here at our company, but we're trying to get a Raiders-only studio.
Studio R.
I'm in. I think I've already seen some plans. It's just a matter of we gotta do it, which it takes a long time to build, and Jeremy and I aren't going to be the ones that build it. So I hear you, though, Daniel. I hear you.
Or we do, and we just go live the whole time while we're building.
Yikes. here's the thing. I've seen how people at this company, including myself, put together IKEA furniture. We're not building a studio. I can guarantee you that.
How, if you locked him into a room, how long do you think it would take Coop and Petey to build a studio?
They're not building one. You're not just going to build a studio. Like, they're not going to put up a wall.
They could.
No chance, dude. There's no way that people who don't know how to... I mean, you're literally building a room. Spackle, drywall.
They could do it.
They would murder each other before...
Nail guns.
Yeah.
No power tools, Dale.
What could go wrong?
No power tools. It's our toothbrush.
My dad can build just about anything. And watching him, and he's like a mad scientist when he starts like drawing up sketches of like how like certain things need to go. Like my dad built our very first house from the ground up by himself. So like, that's why I can't build anything, because he builds everything, and that's why I feel like I'm somewhat good with technology. But like when you see somebody like that, it's different. Let them do it.
If you build it, they will come.
Like, would you trust a house? I'm telling you this right now. If I had to build a house, I wouldn't trust to live in it.
I bet you we have enough contractors and people who work in construction in the chat who can come and build a studio now.
Like in the chat?
Yeah. Who in the chat is a good you work in construction, you work in any sort of field like that?
We're just going to
build
open
a
up
studio
ourselves.
now.
This is going to be a can of worms. This is like one of those things like, I've built something before. Yeah, I can do it. Someone just shows up.
Big one of 83 is a plumber. We could have some sort of plumbing system in there. Maybe a toilet in the studio so we don't have to run to the restroom.
See, I feel like I've already made that promise to Abjin. Though I will say this, there's parts of me where there's going to be times in our lives where we're going to have to hire people. Like I want to build.
Live Oak MJ said my wife's boyfriend does.
Holy shit. There will come a time though in my life where I'm going to need some help. Like somebody's going to have to build a bar in my house. Like I want to have a bar in my house. I'm probably going to need a kitchen redone. Like, and if my dad's too old to do it, then I'm going to need some help getting it done. So if anybody is like willing to, give me a discount, I'm nudge nudge there. I'm in, man. I'm always down for a good deal.
Scott said, "I'm a plumber, electrician, roofer, drywall, and I make candles."
I can't tell if you're serious. That's unbelievable. I can hit a quarter at 300 meters. Cannot put up shelves. For you, though. All right, so how about this then, Nico? I got the problem solved. We're going to have Chugs. We'll hold on to the shelves, and you're just going to load up a tack or a nail and shoot it from 300 meters away.
Target engaged.
Slingshot engaged. All right, y'all. Final segment coming up here on the show. Sir says, I have all the tools, but I can't build for shit. One of the very first things that my dad made me buy when I first moved down here to Dallas, funny enough, I'll say it's the first thing that I think I bought with my first paycheck down here was a toolbox. I bought a toolbox, and then I had to buy my old washer. When you would use it, it would just fill up with water and overflow. Found that one out the hard way.
Robert Jansen said I could supervise. Why do I feel like Robert Jansen would be the guy who everybody's
Robert Jansen is a supervisor.
He's just sitting around. He's like, "Good work, guys. Keep it up."
I'm pretty sure like that's what Robert does. He just walks around and he's a supervisor. Like, "Sir, do you work here?" "No." "I'm watching though."
"No, they wish."
This would be done by now if I did.
This would not be dusty.
I was gonna say, Dave said I can man the grill. I like it. I'll get some food going as well. That's probably where I should be. I should be in the kitchen. All right, y'all. Final call here to get in for a chance to win some money. $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Scott Eckert, you in again, which means winner would go home with $140. We're gonna do that race at the very, very end of today's show. Jeremy, you ready to get into some nudes and rumors?
Yep, Mitch, I am ready to get into some nudes and rumors.
All right, coming up here on the show, let's talk a little bit about Tre White, the latest around him.
Wait.
Uh-oh. What do we got? Is there a super?
Okay, there we go.
Okay, we got into that, though. I did think I just saw another update on Tre White that I just want to make sure that I have. One of the names also that was in our show we're not going to be able to go to anymore, Noah Igbenogany. He's officially been signed by the Commanders. Where was Tre White's other visits? I thought I saw it earlier.
Hold on one second.
Hold the phone, y'all. Hold the phone. Dude, I literally...
You said Noah Igbenogany?
Yes.
Say that 5 times fast.
Noah Igbenogany, Noah Igbenogany, Noah Igbenogany, Noah Igbenogany, Noah Igbenogany. That's actually a name that I know how to say really well because back in the old days when I had to make videos for our Dolphins channel here at Chat Sports, I know, that's old school. Believe it or not, I had a lot of trouble with that name to a point where now I know exactly how to say it. I can remember the first time, though, that I had to say that name on a show.
Say it!
And it was very close to some Charbonara. Let's just say that. It was not great.
All right. Noah Garcia, yes, you are in the March Madness. You were one of the last people to actually get into the March Madness bracket.
Yes, we have the entire March Madness bracket filled. All right, Chugs, you guys ready to get into today's show? After this, we're going to do the duck race, and then we're probably going to skedaddle on out of here. Coming up, the latest around the silver and black, Tre White, and some players that the silver and black could potentially target. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz, your host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, what's the latest going on around Tre'Davious White? And if the Raiders decide to not sign the former Bills corner, I'm going to break down some other cornerback one targets. Would not be able to do today's show if it wasn't for our awesome sponsor, 8 Sleep. And if you need to improve your sleep, well then, hey, go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. That link's going to be available to you all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. I know that I've been getting asked a lot, Mitch, what are the updates here on Tre White? Well, this is why you subscribe to the show. We did get a little bit of an update around the Raiders and White yesterday. He had a visit with the silver and black today. There's more information that is out there, but I know this. If the Raiders do end up signing, whether that's Tre White or a legit number one corner because Antonio Pierce called it a priority, we're going to be making a video on it. And if it's a big-time name at this point, if the Raiders sign Tre White, I'm going live here on the show, and I don't want you to miss it. So let's get in here to the latest on Tre'Davious White, who had a visit with the silver and black yesterday on Monday, March 18th. From everything that I understand, the meeting did go pretty well, and both sides are interested at this current moment, but that does not mean that White is going to be signing anywhere. He does also have a few other visits scheduled for this week. He's meeting with the Rams today, and according to Adam Schefter, Tre'Davious White is also going to be meeting with the Titans and the New York Giants later on in the week. Mike Garafolo also indicated earlier today that several other teams are showing interest, and there's going to be a bunch of teams that are interested. Why? Because when White is healthy, he can be a legit corner. The problem is he just hasn't been healthy for the past 3 seasons, and he was cut earlier this month by the Buffalo Bills. He tore his Achilles on October 1st of this past season, so hopefully he's going to be ready to go during the offseason, and that's probably what a lot of these meetings are. How healthy are you? Are you going to be ready? When do you think that you're going to be ready? On a scale of 1 to 10, like how ready are you if the season started at least right now? He played in 10 games the past 2 seasons. 4 last season, 6 before that. When you look at the past 3 years, only 21 games played. The question has always been, how healthy is Tre White? And right now, I don't have a great answer on that. But I also know that there's a lot of other teams that are recruiting him. One of the players that's been recruiting him on social media is Tre'Davious Ward, who had a hell of a season for the San Francisco 49ers, and the Niners have been trying to build that Super Bowl caliber roster. If you're Tre White, do you decide to go there? Potentially, the Raiders are going to have a lot of competition, which competition usually means a high price tag, and a high price tag is not something that I personally am willing to do with Tre White. So this is going to be the pinned comment here on today's show, and this is nothing new to a bunch of the OGs that watch this show. A pinned comment means it's going to be the comment at the very, very top of this video on YouTube, and you're about to get hit with the YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down, let the ad play, and give me an answer. Sign or pass, what should the Raiders do here with Tre White? I am on board for signing Tre. However, though, I am not going to go out there and break the bank for it. I would be willing to do a very heavily incentive-based contract. The deal that I'd be willing to do right now for Tre would be a 1-year, $5 million. And I'd say, you know what? I'm going to give you the fully guaranteed money. If the Raiders were willing to give $4 million to Marcus Peters, I'm willing to give you an extra $1 million because when healthy, Tre White is a better player than what Marcus Peters is. I'll also give you the chance, though, to make 10 because I will give you the opportunity to double your contract. If Tre plays 15-plus games, it's worth it to me, and it's going to be worth it to me because when he's healthy, he could be a dominant defender. And if you can get a dominant cornerback one at $10 million, like that's also accounting for, snaps, interceptions, probably even a playoff appearance or two of games, right? Like that's what I'd be willing to go up for. And the pause and the concern here has been the past 2 seasons, and I get it. Like, that's why I am willing to give him some guaranteed money, which he probably is looking for considering his health. But if he also knows that he can double that contract, why would you not be interested in that? When you look at his PFF grades from last season, the run defense grade is bad. And when you turn on the tape, it looks like somebody that was just not fully healthy, that was afraid to go up and make some tackles, which, yes, is a concern of mine. It's one of the reasons why the Raiders moved on from Marcus Peters, and Peters was, ole. But what do I worry about? I worry about coverage. And to me, White still has that ability to play man, to play zone, and you can put him on an island and let him do his thing. Like, if you have the front that the Raiders have, which their front is impressive at the defensive tackle position, and then you are able to put White where Brandon Facyson is, like, that is a recipe for success to me. You're still hoping that Ja'Cory and Bennett can step up. You might even still want to go ahead and draft a corner in the 2024 NFL draft. All of those are possibilities. But for Tre White, I am willing to take a risk on a player because I am willing to take a risk or ride with Patrick Graham. I'm willing to ride with Antonio Pierce and everything that regime has done on the defensive side of the football. I know one thing. I would sleep a lot better if the Raiders ended up getting a cornerback one. Luckily, I am still sleeping pretty freaking good, and that's all thanks to our awesome sponsor here, 8 Sleep. And I know a lot of times I talk about different sponsors on this show, but I really, really want you guys to go check these guys out. That link's available to you all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. So go to 8sleep.com/chatsports to get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Invest in the rest you deserve with the 8 Sleep pod. I love 8 Sleep because it has totally stopped my night sweats. I like to snuggle with Chuck. I like to snuggle with Alex, but both of them are very, very warm, and thanks to 8 Sleep, I don't wake up sweating and get a better night's sleep. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. In addition to keeping you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just a month on the pod. So Nation, go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Invest in the rest that you deserve with the 8 Sleep pod. So I know that we talk a lot about different shows here, different sponsors. I'm telling you right now, this has been one that has really, really helped me get up in the morning and go work out. Like, I've really realized that, which, sometimes you don't really think about, like when you have a bad night's sleep and then you try to get up in the morning, you're like, what the hell? Why is it so difficult for me? Since Alex and I started using the 8 Sleep pod, I've started to get up early. I've started to be able to go to the gym, and I've legitimately lost like 10 pounds. Probably, if it wasn't for last week and y'all kicking my butt on Friday, it would be even slimmer. But I've lost weight because it's been easier for me to get up. And 8 Sleep, I appreciate that. All right, coming up here, let's look at some other cornerback one targets for the Raiders. Obviously, this team is interested in corners, right? Antonio Pierce called it a priority. If you're looking at Tre White and Tre White decides to go somewhere else, where can you potentially turn your attention to? Well, I got 5 names coming up here on today's show that if the Raiders decide to look on another direction than Tre White, here are 5 names that I would consider. First name coming up, which I should also mention that these are not ranked in any particular order. These are just 5 names to keep in mind. Stephon Gilmore, who you could probably say is the top corner out there on the market as it stands right now. This is a dude that does thrive in single coverage, and if you were the Raiders, you could put him on an island all by himself, and then you let Jack Jones and everybody else kind of do their own thing, and that would be a little bit less stress, honestly, on your entire secondary. He's played in over 1,000 snaps in back-to-back seasons, had a pretty solid year this past year with the Dallas Cowboys. He's not going to be the Defensive Player of the Year like he was just a few years ago. That's like 2016 with the New England Patriots when he just was absolutely insane. He is 33 years old, going to be, I want to say 30, he's like 33 and a half years old as it stands right now. But that's okay to me. Like, until I see a drop-off where it's that noticeable, like, I'm okay going out and paying a guy like Gilmore who has played in multiple, and I mean multiple different systems and has been good in just about every single one of them. In 17 games last season with the Cowboys, a completion percentage against him of 54.9. For as much one-on-one coverage as he got, that's pretty damn good. 653 yards against them, 4 touchdowns, 13 PBUs, 2 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 83.3. Let's go to the next name here, and it's Steven Nelson. When I look at Steven Nelson, I think of him as more as like a cornerback 2, and I know it says cornerback 1 targets, but this is based on if these players were to be signed by the Raiders, where would they slot in? I would say that Steven Nelson would get the nod to be the corner 1 over Jack Jones to at least start. Coming off back-to-back strong seasons with the Texans, and he has started at least 15 games every season since 2018. The other thing that I love about Nelson is he can play in multiple different schemes / he has played in multiple different schemes. I also think that Nelson would be open to the idea of playing for a guy like Antonio Pierce because Nelson has verbally said how much he's loved playing for DeMeco Ryans, and there's been multiple players that have said, like, you know what, DeMeco gets me. Why? Because he's already been in the NFL, and I do think that that's going to be a strong selling point in years to come with Antonio Pierce. Nelson, last season, 59.4% completion percentage against him. He allowed 613 yards, 1 touchdown, a quarterback rating against of 70.6. And when you look at the PBU and INT numbers, I mean, this guy is a ball hawk. He's able to make plays on the football, and he's played for some really good regimes like Steelers. That's a very good team. The Eagles, that's another very strong team. And when you bounce around as much as what Nelson does and you're still able to play at a high level, there's a reason why that he's still getting the contracts that he is. Let's go to the next name here on the list. It is Xavier Howard. And I would say that this would probably be the name that gets people the most excited because, I mean, X has got that name value, right? So does Stephon Gilmore, which probably is a fair thing to put out there. But for X, he's worked with Patrick Graham, Rob Leonard, and Gerald Alexander. Patrick Graham is the Raiders DC. Rob Leonard is the Raiders defensive line coach. Gerald Alexander is the Raiders safety coach. Back in, I want to say it was 2020 and 2021, Howard had 15 interceptions in those 2 years. In those 2 years, Gerald Alexander was the defensive backs coach in Miami. So there's already a little bit of relation there, and those were the 2 best years that X had. He started at least 13 games in the past 4 seasons, which I know that a lot of times people talk about the injury concerns with Xavier Howard, and there's definitely some injury concerns to be had. But if you told me right now I can sign up for 13 games for X, like I'm signing up for that because out of all the corners on this list, to me, the one that does have the highest upside is him and Gilmore. Last season, 62.0% completion percentage against, 502 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, 12 PBUs, a quarterback rating of 86.7. The other reason why that I like this move is because of how dominant I anticipate the Raiders' front 4 to be. That means quarterbacks are going to have to make plays. They're going to have to make quick decisions. And Xavier Howard has showed you when you put the ball near him, he's been able to make plays his entire career. But next name coming up here on the show is Adoree Jackson. And this is another name that I have thrown out multiple times here on the show because of his connections with Patrick Graham. And the best season that Adoree has ever had, the corner from USC, was back in 2021 when Patrick Graham was the defensive coordinator of the Giants. If I'm Jackson, I probably would take a cheap 1-year type of prove-it deal with a guy that I had a lot of success with in the past. He has had several, and I mean several injuries, which definitely have limited him. I will say, though, you go back, you look at the numbers, you look at the tape from last season, when he was healthy, he was noticeably better down the backstretch of last season. Like, watch that tape. Don't watch the first half of the season. He can play in the slot. He can also play on the outside. Personally, I would rather put him as an outside corner if the Raiders want to go this route. Now, I know what they think about Nate Hobbs, but if you still want to have Nate Hobbs play a little inside and outside, then Adoree Jackson could be a good fit for that. Overall, though, if you're like, no, we're just going to put Hobbs on the on the inside, I don't know if Jackson is the best fit overall. But if you want to roll with one of your guys, like I'm talking roll with one of your guys, this is the name to consider to me. I think it's the best bang for your buck, cheap type of deal that the Raiders could get. Then you could also see what a guy like Jacorian Bennett does, and then you could also potentially still go out and draft a corner in 2024. The final name here is Patrick Peterson, and with a lot of these names, like the only legit cornerback ones I would say is Xavier Howard, Stephon Gilmore. After that, I'd say Steven Nelson, it would be a corner two. Jackson and Peterson are fringe cornerback twos right now. And if I'm Las Vegas, which I know that they've been looking to find a corner/safety hybrid, which is what Peterson did last season. He played a little bit of safety once Minkah Fitzpatrick ended up getting hurt. I just don't think that he's an athlete or quick enough anymore to play corner, but can still play at a high level at safety. And for a lot of y'all Raider fans, especially you OG Raider fans out there, the way that I would use Patrick Peterson is the same way that the old school Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, used Charles Woodson, where Peterson's still a very intelligent player. And you can see it. He's still smart. He's just not the athlete that he once was. So how do you get a smart player on the field? All right, Charles Woodson, I know you were a corner. We're now going to put you at safety. And the fact that Peterson did that last season with the Raiders safety coach, Gerald Alexander, who was with Pittsburgh, does give me some hope and does give me a belief that, you know what, it wouldn't be a bad move. Would he be a legit corner one? No. But you are finding a guy that can back up Merrick, and you're also finding a guy that can back up Epps. Then you're also, on top of that, finding a guy that you can throw in a pinch, if need be, to be able to put him out there at a cornerback spot. He did get targeted quite a bit last season, though I thought the numbers were good. They are a little bit misleading when you consider the fact that he did play safety. He was clearly better, though. Like, when you watch him and how he looked the final part of his season when he was with the Vikings, guy looked washed. Even when he was with the Steelers, looked pretty washed. And then he dropped back into safety, and it was like a brand new career, and that's what I would like to do with Patrick Peterson. So out of the 5 names that I just mentioned, who would you sign? You get to pick one. Let's just say the Raiders are moving on from Tre White, or White decides to sign with the Titans, the Giants, the Rams, or whatever other team he ends up visiting. If you could pick one, are you going to go Gilmore, Nelson, Xavier Howard, Adoree Jackson, or Patrick Peterson? After this YouTube ad break is going to be my answer. I'm going to roll here based on what I believe overall fit, based on relationship, based on projected price. The option A that I'm going to look for is Xavier Howard. My plan B would be Adoree Jackson. Both players I think would fit this system. Both players I think would be solid fits here with Las Vegas. I did want to throw in some other honorable mentions, though, in the world of what if the Raiders are like, you know what, we're going to actually target a corner like a Quinyon Mitchell, a Terrion Arnold at pick 13, and we trust Jacorian Bennett to make that leap. We're just going to sign a cheaper, almost like an Amik Robertson type of replacement at corner. Here are 4 names that I'm just going to throw out there. Trey Herndon, Levi Wallace, who actually, I hope he's still available, C.J. Henderson, and then Ahkello Witherspoon. Like, the names that I would target here, C.J. Henderson does have some upside. The name that those the most, like, it's Witherspoon. If I got to pick any of these guys, the name I'm rolling with here, it's Ahkello. All right, y'all, if you made it this far in the video, shout out to the real ones out there. Also, shout out to Sherry Lynn. Appreciate each and every one of y'all for always tuning into the show, whether we go live, whether you see it on a later date. But remember, our March Madness bracket has been officially filled. We have all 64 spots. We're going to get that thing started on Thursday. Somebody's going to walk home with $1,600. And I'll tell you what, man, I can't freaking wait.
I can't freaking wait.
I can't freaking wait, man.
Gosh darn liter of cola.
A gosh darn liter of cola. I mean, literally, you got the Super Troopers at quarterback for the Raiders. You got Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. I mean, if there are 2 people that look like that they are Super Trooper police officers, cops, you got them right now for the Raiders. What up, 93? I keep saying this. With D-line and pass rush upgraded, I do not see corner as a big of a need now. An enforcer in the middle, linebacker, and strong safety would be best. Yeah, I'll disagree with that. To me, you already have your linebacker in Robert Spillane, and you already have a solid strong safety in Marcus Epps. Like, to me, the final piece of that defensive puzzle, I still would like for you to be able to go out and add another linebacker. I still would like for you to add a strong safety. But the piece of the puzzle that's left on that defensive side of the football is finding a cornerback one. Like, right now, your starting defense would be Brandon Faison, Jack Jones, Marcus Epps, Trevon Merrick, Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo, and then depending on what you want to do with your front four, you can go a few different ways. But, like, by far, the weakest thing of what I just mentioned there is Brandon Faison.
Yeah.
Like, you got to, that's the position that you need to address. Faison, you need to face it.
All right, last chance to get in our 50-50 raffle for today. If you missed out on the March Madness bracket, so sorry, so sad. Maybe next year.
Louis Avina in.
You can still win some money, $20 to enter at Mitchell Renz 365. Right now, I think the winner would win $150.
Robert Pierce is in, and that puts it now at $160 to the winner.
Oh, I was so close.
$160 to the winner.
I was so close.
Final call here, Chugs. I'm going to send you all of the names here. And then after this duck race, y'all, Chugs and I are going to get on out of here. The next time that you're going to see us is going to be on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time here on the show. Though our Thursday show might go just a little bit longer because we will be doing some of the duck races then. So the way that we'll do it is in between some of our segments. We'll be doing duck races. But we'll do them Thursday. We'll do them Friday. I say that we try to get through the first round Thursday and Friday. So that's 32 duck races. It's a lot of duck races. 16 and 16, you think?
Yeah. We do 4 before the first segment, and then 4.
Okay.
And then 4 and 4.
Okay.
4.
We got it. 4 for 4.
Wendy's.
Dude, you know what I was actually craving the other day? In-N-Out.
Really?
I've been wanting to get an In-N-Out burger for a minute. Though I feel like I always just crave burgers. I crave like different kind of burgers. I've been craving In-N-Out animal style. Yep. Steve OK is the last person in this race. So that means winner now gets $170. I sent you the name on TV.
Steve. Okay.
Steve. Okay. Noah Garcia wants to be my friend. I got you, Noah. I just accepted that bad boy. And then to the people that sent me the $50 Venmo today to get in for the March Madness, as soon as today's live show ends, check your Venmo. I'm going to send you the link and basically everything that is needed to join our March Madness bracket. Like, we're actually also doing one on ESPN, which is just more of like, it's a fun thing to do to compete against me and Jeremy and just everybody else that's doing the actual duck race. So that's just a little bit of a cherry on top. So check your DMs on Venmo. I'll just put it in the comment, and then you guys can join because we already have, I want to say already for our ESPN bracket, I'd like to say we had, the last time that I checked, we had like 10 people in. So
the proud Prince Cruz says Whataburger over In-N-Out.
Some people would say. We have right now 11 people in our Raiders Report duck racers.
I do have to say,
okay,
if we're just going off of plain cheese, like a plain cheeseburger,
okay,
like just cheeseburger, I think In-N-Out's better. But the overall menu and other stuff I can get, for me, is what takes Whataburger over the top. Their onion rings are gas. I like the patty melt and like the different burgers I can get.
See, their mushroom Swiss burger,
good.
They don't make it anymore though, I feel like. Like
Yeah.
the last 2 times I've gone, it's not there.
And I am telling you right now, one of my favorite bites of fast food, Whataburger onion rings in the spicy ketchup.
Yeah, I like Whataburger. I also like onion rings.
Have you had their onion rings?
Oh, that's what I get there.
The onion rings?
Again, I don't get fries, which I've said 100 times, I think, on this show. I usually get other sides. We have one more name, Jeremy. I need you to add James Yu. James Yu, you are in, which now puts us at 18. No, it's the other U. Oh, that's fine. James Yu. Pogo stick race. You ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's ride. Winner of this gets 180.
Dude, 5 seconds in, I don't think I've ever seen a more even race.
Yeah, imagine this many people pogo sticking next to each other.
15 seconds in, I don't think I've ever seen this even of a race.
I actually don't even know who's in the lead.
I don't think there's anybody in the lead.
I don't even know who's getting the butthole pick, though. It looks like you down there is starting to fall back a little bit.
Yeah.
No, Jason EB's been in the same spot.
They're hurting right now. They're all together.
Raider Josh, I see Avina up there at the top. Scott Eckert down there at the bottom. Steve OK, Campos, Robert Pierce falling back here a little bit.
Okay, Jason EB.
Justin Gilbert.
Wow, someone's got a flat. Someone's got a flat.
Have you noticed how big the circles are like underneath them? I feel like it doesn't match.
Yeah.
8 seconds to go. Is Damian Sarpy going to get the win? Watch out for Justin down here at the bottom.
Scott
Eckert. It's going to be Justin. Dude, that one was neck and neck, man. That one was intense.
Jason EB.
So that was Justin. I just want to make sure.
Salar.
I know. I think it should be, Justin Salazar. I just want to make sure that there's not another Salazar. Yeah, I think we're good because there's a Salvador. Yep, we got it. Justin Salazar is the winner. How many races has Justin done? Wow. First race gets the dub.
Wow.
First race, and he gets the dub. That's lucky. Justin, congrats, man. I need you, if you could, please confirm down below that you just received $180 here on the Raiders Report. Justin Salazar, if you could, that would be much, much appreciated. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. That's all the time that Jeremy and I got for you. Eric M. said, wow, I know. Kind of crazy that somebody could win on the first one. Isaac, I sent in a 20. Didn't know you would run it right now. Let me see, Isaac. Was Isaac in that race?
I can see.
Yeah, just go back and check. I'm looking. Yeah, Isaac, I didn't get a 20 from you.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know where you sent that, Isaac. Maybe just confirm that you sent it to me and not there's probably not. Hopefully you didn't send it to somebody else. That's all I'm saying.
2 L's.
2 L's in my name. Mitchell Renz, 365.
John Rodriguez also said, Whataburger, I'll take 5 Guys any day. I don't have that kind of money.
Pause.
$19 for a burger, fries, and a shake? Even though I do have to say, I've had it a couple times, and it sounds weird. 5 Guys hot dogs.
Nope.
Really good. Bacon and cheese hot dog from 5 Guys with some grilled onions. Elite move.
Okay, Isaac, I'm going to send you back your 20.
Oh, did he just send it?
Yeah, it came in while we were doing the race. Yeah, I mean, Isaac, I just sent your 20 back if you want to confirm, but...
Dude, I'm telling you, it sounds weird. The 5 Guy hot dogs and the way they do it, they cut the hot dog in half and they press it on the grill. Really good.
I just don't like hot dogs, though. Yeah, I'll take 100 pizzas, please, from Jay. What should be our
55 hot dogs, 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 french fries, 55 tacos.
Dude, that skit is hilarious.
I'm just going to pay it forward.
Dude, that skit is unbelievable. Though, I do feel like in the off season, we got to come up with last year, Jeremy and I did some very random food challenges. We did Taco Bell. We did the broccoli challenge. I feel like this year, I don't really want to do challenges. I want to do food reviews where it's you give us something to try, even if it's beer. Like, I think in the off season, if instead of every single show, it's always Happy Dad, if there's like a certain beer out there that you're like, yo, go get this, or hey, guys, go try this out. We give a review on it, and
basic. I don't know if I can do. I know the Flying Dutchman is
it's all good, Isaac. It's all good.
Is without the buns, but he was saying, I've seen people do the grilled onion buns. I've seen people do the lettuce. He's saying do it with the tomato. I think that's too much tomato for me. I like tomato, but I like it like thin cut.
See, I like tomato. I wouldn't.
I don't know if I could do two like tomatoes as the buns, like two big pieces of tomato.
I mean, if I was trying to eat healthy, sure. But I'm not going to In-N-Out. I'm not going to a burger joint and not getting bread. Like, that's part of the burger experience to me. If I want to eat healthy, if I want to make a burger of my own, like, and I'm at home and I want to be healthy, like, sure, like, I'll go lettuce wrap, tomato. I've even done it with, like, mushrooms as, like, the patties.
I'm telling you.
If I'm going out to eat, though, I'm not eating healthy.
The best burger I've had in Dallas, my new favorite, like, best burger. There's a place called, have you ever been to LA Burger?
No. I'm intrigued, though. I mean, I've been on a burger kick recently.
So they have a burger that it's, I mean, out of bounds good.
Okay.
Where is it? It is.
You said LA Burger?
Yes. It's called the K-Town Burger.
Okay, I'm listening.
And it comes with kimchi, pickled jalapeno, bulgogi, lettuce, tomatoes, sriracha mayo, cheese, and egg.
So it's like an Asian-style burger.
Yes.
See, I love Asian-style burgers. I would try it. I might have to try it now.
Dude, it is so good.
Yeah, Yoda said we're talking about food. I don't know if you guys can tell. I am a hungry guy right now. I'm a hungry guy. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Though, I see Super Chats are still flowing in here. So, Daniel Topg said, grew up with In-N-Out. It's my favorite. We did an In-N-Out food review last year, which probably is almost a year ago at this point, no? I mean, it's probably almost a year ago at this point. We tried to do, or was it during the draft? I feel like it was during something, because we randomly did it one day, and we did it in that studio. Which the only time they put us in that studio is when we do other things. Nico
said y'all probably didn't order it right. We took what y'all ordered for us.
Yeah, that's true. I forget. I mean, we ended up getting it was green, which I'll admit the green chili in the burger was better.
The chopped chilies in the burger was
a lot better. That was a lot better. Yeah, I'm a big
honestly,
animal style fan.
The Neapolitan shake was maybe my least favorite. I think I just like the vanilla or the chocolate one.
Did we get strawberry?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at it. It was good though.
The fries, I will have to say, you do have to order them a special way. Y'all told us to order them extra crispy, basically.
Extra crispy animal
style.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was a lot better.
Yeah.
Yep, that was a lot better. Either way, Whataburger is trash.
I'm telling you, you got to try LA Burger.
I'll give it a shot.
And the buns they use, it's like an Asian bread. Like it's a different kind of bread. It's like a sweet bread. Really good.
Dude. See, now I'm intrigued. I like sweet and spicy burgers, so all right. I think I know what I'm gonna eat for dinner tonight. All right, y'all. That's we're gonna get on out of here. Again, appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in to today's show. The next time that you're gonna see Jeremy Chugs and I is gonna be on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. If any other breaking news ends up going down, obviously we'll be back. I also noticed that we are at 668 likes. Who's going to be 669? I'll see you guys Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern time here on the Raiders Report.